What's going on, guys? Back on the Wizarding World train here once again. I've already done all eight, I almost said seven, Harry Potter movies. Well, there's technically seven because the last one's two parts, so it's one movie. Where's the release the one cut?
The whole bloody affair.
Yeah. I've already reviewed Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them with my friend Anthony. We both really like that movie. So now, you guys know my thoughts on the Crimes of Grindelwald. I've reviewed it in the past when it first came out, both spoiler and non-spoiler, but over time, opinions change.
Or they don't.
Or they don't. Because I think this is what we're going to talk about today. I have my esteemed colleague again, Pat Guy, is here to join me for this. I know you absolutely despise this movie, but before we get into your thoughts, I want to preface this by saying, I think originally I was in denial with this movie because I think I gave it a B- in my original review. Because I was like, well, it's Harry Potter. There hasn't been a single bad movie yet, so I can't really give it a negative review. But boy, have things changed in recent years. This is a terrible movie. I might not be as hard on it as you, but when people talk about movies being a mess, this is a gargantuan mess. Wow. Okay. So that's my way of saying my opinion has changed. I'm not as positive on this movie as I once was. And like I said, I might be more lenient on it than Pat, but with Pat's criticisms, I really can't argue against them, even if it sounds like I'm going to argue, because they're all valid points. So let's just get your thoughts.
Oh God. This movie makes me mad. I can barely call it a movie. It's one of those films that's not really a film and it's just a series of nonsense after nonsense.
It's not even a series of events, right?
No, they hurt so many characters. They hurt the lore of Harry Potter. They don't take chances that they should take. I don't even want to get into that. J.K. Rowling wrote this movie, and I don't even want to get. Her views on things are obviously awful. Still grew up with Harry Potter. Still a huge Harry Potter fan, but J.K. Rowling has seriously disappointed me.
I just want to stop you right there for a minute. You have to separate the art from the artist. You can still love Harry Potter, but J.K. Rowling's a piece of shit.
Right? It's hard. You always have to preface it now because I love Harry Potter so much.
Yeah, because now it's like you're saying oh, you love Harry Potter? Oh, then you love J.K. Rowling.
Right. No, no, I don't agree with any of her viewpoints on any of the things she's awful about.
Yeah.
Oh my God, just don't even want to get into that side of it because I get too angry for this.
Yes.
And I'm already gonna be angry. This movie was. I liked the first Fantastic Beasts well enough.
I did too.
I didn't love it like Harry Potter.
No,
but I liked it.
I don't think we were ever supposed to. It's kind of like the Hobbit, Lord of the Rings syndrome for me. It's like this is good, but it's not going to be as good as the first one or the original series. And I think people hold that in too high of a regard. They're like, well, it's not as good as Harry Potter, so it sucks. I'm like, that doesn't make it bad.
No, there was enough in the first one, enough interesting ideas, enough fun ideas and the characters were fun. They systematically ruined a lot of those characters in this movie.
Yes. Yes.
I liked it overall. And then I was like, okay, so this one, cool. We'll finally get to see young Dumbledore, in young Grindelwald. No. Cool. And then it's I'm not a fan of most of what they did.
Yeah. Okay, I'll say this. Even after how many times I've rewatched this and my opinion on it has gone down every time I've watched it, I do think the opening scene is still the best part of the movie. That opening sequence is still fantastic to me. After that, it just completely tanks.
The Grindelwald escape scene, you mean?
Yeah. Because I feel like they set up something that Grindelwald could have done throughout this entire movie. And then they just don't do it again. But from a visual standpoint, too, it's one of the more breathtaking scenes in the movie as well. I mean, at least there's something happening in that scene, unlike the rest of this movie.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, because it has such good, like, that start is such promise, and then what comes after is like, what the hell?
I think one of the things that makes me most angry about this movie, and it's a long list, but one of the things that makes me most angry is after Harry Potter came out, like J.K. Rowling made the announcement that Dumbledore was gay,
Yeah,
and then that was like, and it was of course like it was like, well, why wasn't that more of a factor in his character? Like, why wasn't
right.
that really ever addressed in the books at all? But like, I thought the fact she did that meant, and then these were coming out, that maybe we could actually delve more into that in these stories.
Right.
And this was the perfect opportunity. You have young Dumbledore, you have younger Grindelwald. You're telling their backstory. You're setting up like that legendary fight. I would
That we've
think
heard about for
right.
the whole movie series and the whole book series.
And the fact that they got this all set up, it's set up perfectly for this tragic love story, and then instead they completely bitch out and they go, oh, Dumbledore goes, I can't fight him. And it's like, oh man, why not? Is it because you're in love
We
with
made
him?
a
Like,
blood pact.
yeah, we made a blood pact, a magic blood pact. So it has nothing to do with his feelings towards him or whatever. It's just that. And then they found a loophole to like make it so that I'm like, what? Like immediately that takes out like any and all of the drama that you could have had in this series
Yeah.
is now completely gone. And young Dumbledore, as much as I like Jude Law, like that's not what I would think Dumbledore would be like.
No,
Like
no. I feel,
walking around in a three-piece suit. I'm like, no, that dude would be in wizarding robes in the middle of London and wouldn't bat an eye. Like he wouldn't even think about, oh, I should look like a mug.
yeah, and you know what I think they were kind of going for too. Like, I feel like they were kind of like confused. It's like, do we make this more like the Richard Harris Dumbledore? Do we make this more like the Michael Gambon Dumbledore? But the truth of the matter is, they didn't make it like either Dumbledore.
No, he's a completely different character.
Yeah. So I think they had that conundrum.
Yeah.
You know, I could be spitting here. I could be reaching for straws. But this feels like to me, especially on a couple of rewatches, that this was the middle movie in the trilogy, not not the movie in the 5 movie series. You know, like I feel like this movie was planned out when the series was still supposed to be a trilogy, and then J.K. Rowling just never went off that plan. Like that's my fear with this whole series. Like we have a beginning, and I feel like there's an end because we obviously know it's probably going to end with Grindelwald and Dumbledore dueling each other.
I would hope so, but with the way this
you never know now. Yeah,
it's
you never know now. But like if this is a 5 film series, what's the middle? Yeah, what's the middle like of the story? Like, and I feel like we're just gonna drag out the middle story for 3 movies.
But the problem is
all these weird side quests with Lita Lestrange switching babies and
that's the problem with this movie in particular. There's no central antagonist, no central plot, no protagonist. It's just a collection of lore dust.
It's filler.
That J.K. Rowling is just dumping lore on us.
Yeah,
it's like okay, is the plot that they need Eddie Redmayne to go after Grindelwald, and oh, now Credence is back from the first one.
I don't know why he came back.
He's at the circus with Nagini, who is not a snake. She's a woman who turns into a snake. So now Neville Longbottom cut off this woman's head.
Still my man, though. I still love you, Neville.
Like it's just, and Credence was one of my least favorite parts of the first one.
Can I ask you? Am I reaching in that assumption though? Do you think? Like
which assumption?
That like this was still supposed to be like the middle movie when it was still planned to be a trilogy?
Maybe. I mean, I just feel like this movie.
Doesn't it feel like it?
It feels like it doesn't feel like a movie, Alex. It doesn't feel like a second
I know,
movie.
but like you know how like sometimes in trilogies we're like, oh, the second one's the filler just to get to the
sure. But most of those, have like still has like some sort of middle and end and like something in between. Like Two Towers still feels like a movie. Like this does not feel like a movie. It's like, oh, we got
it's just a series of.
We heard about Lita Lestrange in the first movie, right? It was supposed to be this tragic, mysterious, love romantic past.
Yeah.
And then you get to it, she's like, suddenly we get her whole fucking Hogwarts history, and then she's switching her baby brother, and there's all this nonsense with the Lestranges that nobody cares about.
That whole baby switching subplot where it was like, oh, I probably killed my brother, but I didn't actually kill him. I killed some other baby and switched the babies. I was like, what the fuck does this have to do with anything? That honestly, okay, hear me out. I think that's actually like the blood pact thing is dumb, but Lita Lestrange switching the babies for some random subplot that we don't know, that thinks it's important because, oh, this is the big reveal of Credence's heritage. I'm like, nobody gives a fucking shit. And that's why I think that part of the movie is worse than the blood pact. They're both stupid, but that's worse.
They treat it as this big, like you said, a big reveal. This is, oh, Credence is actually Lestrange. But that's like, oh, no, he's not. Because
some random Dumbledore we've never heard of.
The real twist is he's another Dumbledore brother that has never once in the books or the movies factored into anything or been mentioned before. Yeah. It's probably bullshit. I don't know, but I don't care even. Like I don't
care about Credence, and I think it's because I don't like Ezra Miller as an actor, and I hold that against him. I'm sorry, but
Credence should have stayed dead in the first one. The whole point of his whole deal was that he was dying.
When you look at how this whole movie is structured, there is no reason for any of these characters other than Newt to come back.
There is no structure. There is no structure. Exactly. This is random ass scenes.
Exactly. Like it's just like, oh, we're just gonna randomly bring Jacob back, and then all of a sudden, like Queenie's just gonna be in a relationship with him, but then she doesn't want to be in a relationship with him.
No, okay, Alex, here's what happened. Okay, they took my favorite character from the first movie, Queenie,
and they ruined
her. She was awesome in the first movie. She was adorable. She was funny. She had a cool power. Like awesome character. And then they go, oh, yeah, she's marrying Jacob. Oh, actually, she's drugging him with magic
spell, right?
And then she gets mad because he's like, you've been roofing me. So she runs off and she goes, okay, well, I want to be able to marry him. So what am I going to do?
I'm going to join Grindelwald.
I'm going to join the guy that's going to kill all the muggles. Oh, that's what I'm like. What are you doing to Queenie? Why are you making her such a terrible character?
That's the thing.
Like, what the heck? It does, like, there's no logical reason why she would do, if you did something like that, where you see her, like, lose her mind or something, but, like, they treat her like she's just a terrible,
dude, and then you have awful. And then you just have moments of fan service for the sake of fan service. Like, it's fan service that's bad. Like, we're going to throw Nicholas Flamel in this movie.
Oh, yeah, I forgot they did that. I forgot he's in here.
I actually did too, and then I just thought of it. I'm like, shit, Nicholas Flamel's in this movie.
Nagini doesn't amount to anything. She has like, what, 2 lines of dialogue? Yeah. Like, what is the setup here? Is the setup that in Fantastic Beasts 5, Tom Riddle's going to turn her into a permanent snake?
Yeah, she's going to become Bathilda Bagshot.
Oh, my God.
Yeah,
it's just...
Dude, and then I think, but I honestly don't get why the movie is called The Crimes of Grindelwald, because what crimes is he committing?
Well, they murder a baby or whatever. Remember that?
That's it.
They like make
maybe the crime of
around Paris.
Maybe the crime of escaping jail. I don't know.
I mean, he doesn't. He just chills out in like an apartment the whole time.
Dude, and then you don't understand his motivation. Like he gathers everybody in like this graveyard place, I would assume.
Yeah.
And he's just like, all right, people, come and join me. And I'm assuming his motivation is, well, there's going to be Muggle wars. They're going to kill each other. So we're going to reign supreme. So let's just wipe them out anyway.
No, but I mean, you're missing the fact that he learns this by smoking some shit and goes, oh,
yeah, that's right. That's right. Don't you see the planes and like the smoke or something?
The world wars are coming. And we as the wizarding community must kill the Muggles before they commit Nagasaki and Hiroshima over there. Like, I'm like, what?
is what we are fighting.
Yeah, it's weird, right?
It's such a far cry from Harry Potter.
It's so unclear too. Like you can have bad motivation like that, but like bad unclear motivation. Like for years, like on the rewatches I've done, because my mom wanted to watch these movies, so I had to rewatch them with her, and she's like, "That was so good." But like even then, I was just like, I'm still confused as to what he wants to do. Like I'm still confused as to whether or not that is actually what he wants, or it's like I'm still confused as to whether or not he thinks like, oh, the Muggles are just gonna kill each other anyway, so let's just wipe them out and reign supreme. Like I have no idea. And then, well, it's like this movie's going. I remember sitting in the theater and this movie was going along. I was like, all right, like I'm enjoying it so far. And then they trick you in the middle of the movie because they're like, we got to get to someplace. And then all of a sudden you see the camera panning over a hill and then you hear dun 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 dun. It's like, we're back at Hogwarts. No, you're not. You're only back at Hogwarts for 5 minutes. Hogwarts means nothing. Apparently McGonagall is like a 40-year-old teacher in 1926. So how old does that make her in the Sorcerer's Stone?
I remember people getting really mad about
that. How old does that make her in the Sorcerer's Stone? That's all I want to know.
I don't know. They just like.
Well, I mean, they did say Dumbledore was 150 in Half-Blood Prince.
Newt is like barely a character in this movie. Like he should. I feel like whatever happened to running around collecting beasts with your briefcase?
And they try to do that. Dude, what happened to the cute little Niffler?
Why is Newt, of all people, going after Grindelwald?
Yeah.
He will die. He will die. That's like sending fucking Fred and George, like, you guys, you go after Voldemort. Like, why? Are they going to shoot fireworks at that? Like, prank him? What the shit?
Speaking of Grindelwald, Johnny Depp as Grindelwald.
Yes.
Your thoughts?
He's fine. Like,
yeah, I think
Grindelwald, I don't really like as a character. Like it makes it hard.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I like Johnny. Like, I don't love Johnny Depp as Grindelwald. I like him. I think I would love him if he actually had something to do.
Right. If he was just hanging out and occasionally converting Queenie to the dark side somehow.
Yeah. Like this movie's 2 hours and 15 minutes, and it just crams every idea J.K. Rowling had in her mind into one movie.
Yeah, not even like important ideas, just fucking like side backstories that don't matter.
Like, what made the first one so fun was that it was called Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. Like, the beasts got loose in New York. Newt had to go find them. You find out he's a collector of the beasts. It was cool seeing the little, like, I still love the Niffler. The Niffler's the cutest thing ever.
Yeah, it was a simple plot.
I loved seeing
a simple structure.
I loved seeing him rob banks and steal jewelry and all that. They try and do like another like beast moment in this where it's like you have that like kind of like Chinese dragon looking lion thing, but it's like that's the only one. Like the Niffler's barely in the movie. The cool other beasts are barely in the movie. It's like, why are you calling it Fantastic Beasts if there's no beasts?
The one scene of Newt and his new assistant or whatever is like the best part of the movie, and it's one scene and she never comes back.
In the Ministry of Magic?
No, it's early on in the movie. I think it's inside of his briefcase with the water dragon thing.
Oh yeah, yeah.
She's like helping him, but like all of that type of stuff is gone, and he's on this like freaking espionage mission.
The magic is very much gone in this installment.
Yeah, it's just
it doesn't feel magical at all.
No, it's a bunch of nonsense just thrown at the wall. It's
like, come on. It's just like Queenie. Yeah, the Queenie thing you'll never forgive, huh?
No, that's so like way to just ruin a character.
Yeah, and then like they build up this whole big reveal with Credence where it's like, you are Regulus. No.
Regulus. You're RAB.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. But I forget what his name is, where it's like, yeah, it's like this Dumbledore we've never heard of. I'm like, where the fuck is this coming from? Like, J.K. Rowling's just pulling shit out of her ass now.
He was Aurelius Dumbledore, Albus's long-lost brother. Which, what the shit? Like, I thought the important sibling to Dumbledore's backstory was the sister. No, the sister that he always talked about and was in the painting. Like, Aberforth was there too, sure, but the sister was like the driving, you know?
Yep.
But I've also never been one that's been overly in love with like the Dumbledore history, like those were by far my least favorite chapters of Deathly
Yeah.
Hallows. Like, please, can I stop reading about what may or may not be true about Dumbledore?
Let's get back to Dumbledore having a facade of being nice, but really actually kind of being a dick underneath.
But like, why do we spend so much time with Lestrange if she just dies?
Yeah, and then you have that one other random guy who's like, I'm the long lost sibling of Lena Lestrange.
I remember watching that in the theater, and he shows up, and that's when they go into like the half hour of exposition. And I'm like, I don't care about any of this. I don't care about anything.
Yeah,
Just,
and then
who cares?
And then like Tina is barely in the movie too.
I forgot she was even in this movie, but she fights the weird cat things.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that action scene. Okay, I'll say this: if anything, other than the opening scene and that moment in his suitcase that you mentioned, I did like seeing different ministries of magic.
Sure. Yeah.
Other than that, I don't really have anything positive to say. Oh, shit, I had something I was gonna say, but now I lost my train of thought. God damn it, Grindelwald.
Or like even like Newt's brother, like that relationship could have been interesting.
Yeah. I forget. What the hell's his brother's name? I even forget.
Theseus.
Theseus.
Yeah.
Well, I don't just call him Perseus. Jesus. Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna write a Theseus statement later.
I don't know
about this movie.
It's a rough movie. It's a rough movie.
It's a very rough movie. Like, I'm surprised I remember it as much as I do.
Yeah, I just remember the bad parts because they were so bad.
Yeah. Now, I mean, and here's the thing: the trailer was so good that it tricked us into thinking it was going to be good. And I think they're doing the same thing with The Secrets of Dumbledore, which sounds like a stupid title, by the way.
I'm sure if this movie's anything to go off of, he has no secrets.
Exactly. Like, I don't.
What's his secret that he has?
I will say the third one gives me I know what I was gonna say, but I'll get to that in a minute. The third one, I think, gives me a little bit of hope that it seems like we're gonna have a little bit more of streamlined locations where we're not gonna be jumping all over the place. It seems like we're just gonna kind of be in like Hogwarts and then wherever they have to go, which I've heard is Rio, I think. So it seems like it's probably just gonna be Hogwarts and Rio. So it's not like we're gonna be a mishmash of locations, putting a skillet and pulling out whichever one, they want to go to next. But you know what I think? And I blame the first one for this. The reveal for Grindelwald should not have happened. And again, I think that's going back to that was planned when the series was only a trilogy and J.K. Rowling just never changed it. Because I feel like this movie would have much more of an impact if Graves being Grindelwald was the reveal at the end of this movie or at the beginning of the third movie.
Right. Or even I always thought if Graves even was just a follower.
Yeah,
set Grindelwald up more.
I feel like not having Colin Farrell in this movie was a huge mistake.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just it's rough. It's
a
rough
talking about this trash.
I just all I can say is I hate it. Like it's just it hurt my love of this, like the world of
this is what happens when you make prequels. This is the risk you take when prequels are made. Like it tends to fuck with the lore that is already established, and that's what people got pissed off with George Lucas for with the prequel trilogy, which in hindsight actually isn't that bad when you think about it. But I think
it handles that stuff a lot better than this handles the Harry Potter lore.
Exactly. And I think I actually made that comparison in my original review where I said J.K. Rowling is now the new George Lucas. Like George Lucas is now innocent. Like she has no fucking clue what her own lore is.
No, I don't think she does.
No, she's just making up shit by the day.
She's a multi-billionaire. What does she care? That's why she thinks she can just say anything.
Yeah, exactly.
And like not expect to get like backlash.
But yeah, so those are my updated thoughts on Crimes of Grindelwald. Not as positive as I once was. There's still a few things where I'm like, okay, I like that. But mostly not a movie, just a series of visual segments that feel like they were filmed for different movies, but just thrown into one movie. I'm gonna lower my B. I think it was a B- grade. I'm gonna lower that to like a C-, maybe a D+.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I'd give this an F.
Yeah. Full blown F.
Full blown F. Yep. I think it failed to do what it should have done.
Yeah. Yeah. See, I said I wasn't gonna be that harsh, but like I
Sucks.
can't argue with you though. Like, because you're right. Like it's anybody you talk to about this movie, they're gonna be like, that movie's not good. Like I don't know a single person that likes this movie.
Me neither. I don't know if they exist.
I don't either. All right, so those are our updated thoughts on the Crimes of Grindelwald. My next review is going to be a review for The Secrets of Dumbledore and a spoiler review for The Secrets of Dumbledore.
Here's a spoiler for The Secrets of Dumbledore. Johnny Depp is no longer in it.
It's Mads Mikkelsen,
Yeah.
which they switch up the look of Grindelwald a little bit, which I think you have to do, but yeah. We'll get to Mads Mikkelsen when we get there. But you guys are the best. Thank you for watching. Pat, where can they find you?
Find me on Twitter at this Pat guy, where I get into arguments with people.
I love it. You can find me at my official website, alexmaddenmovies.mystrikingly.com. All my social media links are there. You guys are the best. Thank you for watching. My name is Alex Madden. That's Pat Guy, my cousin in crime. We'll see you later.